Too busy to cook this fall? With Factor, you can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Get 50% off Factor with code JTrain50 at factormeals.com/JTrain50. That's factormeals.com/JTrain50. Code JTrain50. Hello and welcome to JTrain Podcast. This is JTrain Jared Freed coming live from the West Village of Manhattan. We're here every Monday with your emails, your stories, your questions. I say it every episode. Let me say it again. Thank you. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for telling a friend. That's how it all works. Again, I do this every week. I'm at the point, I like to do a professional job, but I want to make sure, let's get right to it. Thank you, share, like, all that stuff. You know how a podcast works. Also, if you have a question, and we do dating, relationship, lifestyle, friendship questions, we got them all here. I mean, the first one is called Morning Breath Misery. So you could be looking for here's the thing that this podcast is going to bring you. Perspective. My guests and I, we don't know shit, but we can just answer you honestly from our hearts, and I
can respond.
Right.
Yeah.
You can respond.
Yeah.
And the thing is, how many times in your life do you really get honesty? Very little, if you think about it. People are nice. People are generally looking to get through life comfortably. If you think of like people's incentive base, their incentive is to get from when they wake up to when they go to bed without having horrific thoughts in their head. So they're going to be as nice as possible. Yeah. So if you go to your friend and you're like, polite.
Yeah.
This ain't, that's our new motto. This is the podcast where we're not going to be polite.
It's not a polite podcast.
No.
Get out of here.
What if I took that angle? That's my thing. I ain't polite.
Anti-polite.
Right. That's like
some people call it rude. That's an easy.
Right. Rude is this is the rude podcast. Let me bring on my guest today. Hilarious comic. So funny. This is your first time here.
Yeah.
First time in the JCU, the JTrain Cinematic Universe. Napoleon Emil, so funny. At Napoleon Emil, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Dude, I always like seeing you. I've always wanted to have you on the podcast. I'm not just being polite. This is a pure honesty. You have a calming effect. Do you ever get that?
I've heard that a couple times lately.
Really?
Yeah, somebody was saying like I don't know. Every time I'm around you, I just feel chill.
I do. I get that feeling. I feel chill. You're easy to talk to. In comedy circles, sometimes that's hard. I think like sometimes we talk to people and comedians. You're like, how do I get out of this interaction?
Yeah, what's the appropriate time I feel that all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm too nice, too cool.
I'm that way too because you want to you basically you want to be nice to people. You don't want to be a dick, but you're like, now I'm actually being mean to myself.
Ooh, I never thought of it like that.
Well, I'm in this.
But no, that makes sense though. It's like now I'm hurting myself
to be nice to you.
To be nice to you, which is like trying to figure out the best way to be like, how do I get out of this? Because like you don't have to be mean to stop a conversation.
Totally agree. It's one of those.
People are sensitive, though. Is what I'm saying.
Well, people please. I find this last few months I've been thinking about like people pleasing as a negative.
Yeah,
that's like a thing in my life where I'm like I'm trying to make everyone happy.
Where does that come from? Wanting to people please?
I think a lot of comedians have that as far as like you want to get like you want to feel like you've done a good job for people.
Oh yeah. That's more validation.
Validation,
yeah.
But I the people pleasing thing it can go in. I've noticed that in my life where I'm just like wow I've made myself worse off by like helping
being nice,
and it's like and you're like you're not even being nice now you're just being polite, you know, like
you're like doing the what do you think the social things are to like engage, not have somebody talk shit about you later,
right? And
you want to leave a good impression, but I feel like that's like what's the word, like when you like control the narrative, like you can't always control the narrative.
You so definitely can't. There's gonna be people who talk shit no matter what.
Some people walk away and be like, "Fuck that dude." Like I can't. Like whoa, before you say "fuck me."
Right.
Let me give you. No, you can't do that for everything.
That's the thing. Like I'm jealous of people who are pretty good at being like, whatever they think, and like I and it's weird,
unfiltered,
right? Unfiltered. Now you can, but what you're saying is correct. You don't have to be rude.
No, you don't have to be rude. But
you can just be like, I got shit to do.
You got to find that middle ground or that middle space to where you're not rude, but you're also like being like, you're
protective.
Of at least yourself.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. I mean, like we saw each other last night. We went out last night.
Yeah.
Listen, we had scheduling and things like that. You were like, I'll be there. And then it's like, there was a point last night where I was like, okay, time for me to go. And
smart. That's smart.
Right. And I was smart. And I was like, when you leave somewhere,
maybe that's what I was doing. I was people pleasing, staying out too
I don't
late.
think
I'm
you
like,
were.
They don't want me to leave. I gotta stay.
No, you were having fun. But I was like, there is a point where I go, and I literally said to myself before I left, I go, it's time to go. You're a big boy.
Yeah, you gotta like pep talk yourself.
Right. You gotta look in the mirror.
Hey, come on, you gotta get
out. Right. So I'm pumped you're here. Everyone should go follow Napoleon at Napoleon Emil.
Please.
You're on YouTube.
Yeah.
All that stuff. There's clips out there and stuff.
I got
he's
the sets
incredibly
out there.
funny.
The sets, the sketches, all of those things are all up on YouTube.
Go follow Napoleon. Let's do the emails. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrain Podcast. I'm on the road, people. Be nice to me. Come to my shows.
I thought that was the name of your tour.
What's that?
I thought that was the name of the tour.
Oh, be nice to me. That's the new name of the tour. Be Nice to Me Tour. Syracuse, New York, D.C., Baltimore, Dania Beach, Portland, Oregon, Arizona, San Diego, Boston, Chicago. Also, I've added new dates. New York. I think we added New York, Toronto. Let me just see. Because I had people in these cities. New York, Toronto. Here's what's adding.
We're in Toronto.
I'll tell you right now. We're going to be New York at Town Hall, Toronto, Danforth, Minneapolis at the Fillmore,
nice.
Royal Oak at Royal Oak Theater.
Fillmore's nice.
Fillmore's nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's so some big rooms. So I need people to assemble that group chat, get them together. Also, San Francisco and Denver. So all of these have been added. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Oh, at JaredFree.com. You know where to get the tickets.
Busy winter.
It's going to be a busy. Yeah, we're getting into this. We got big cities. San Francisco. I'm coming back to Cobb's. I'm so excited. So
San Francisco's just one of my favorite cities.
Isn't it the best? Where are you from?
Charlotte.
We talked about this.
Yes.
So I was just in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I like Charlotte.
I love Charlotte.
I'm a fan.
I love Charlotte. I feel like you can get two sides of Charlotte depending on how you go, who you know.
So I was saying that it's like a big city amenities, small town feel.
Yeah. I feel like it's right in that well, Charlotte's a fast growing city.
Right. Everyone felt like a transplant.
Yeah, everyone like my parents are from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up down there, most of the kids I knew, most of my classmates' parents were from like the north, or they were born and moved there when they were 2. A lot of
because it's like they opened a lot of like industry. It's a big banking town.
Big bank town. Well, all right. So I played ball for a couple of years, right?
Okay.
Arena football.
Really?
Yeah. So
what was that like?
That was fun. That was a lot of fun, but it was also very. It's like comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of crooks.
Really?
A lot of crooks in there.
Are they taking advantage of you loving football?
Yeah.
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 So they're like, "Hey, come."
Well, it's a situation where like you train, you work out, you get picked up by a team, you go out there, you live there, they put you up.
Really? Where did you play?
I played a couple of years. I played in El Paso one year. I was out there. I was in I played in both North and South Carolina for 2 different teams. I played in Utah also.
So when they put you up, where do they put you up?
They put you in like an apartment. They put you in like a 3-4 bedroom apartment. You're there with other athletes, other players.
Yeah.
It's different. Sometimes it's an apartment. Sometimes it's like a house. And everybody would compare it to like college without class.
Gotcha.
A lot of roaming around in flip flops.
Right. Just chilling, waiting for games. Do they have practices?
We practice. Like so in El Paso is different because El Paso and Utah, very different places, but they're like it's hot.
Yeah.
It's like very hot.
Sure.
But it's not humid in El Paso. So it's just heat. But then in Utah, when I was out there, it was like I had no wind because you're like, you're high
altitude.
Yeah. So I had to I remember training like the year before, playing like continuously playing throughout the year, going out to Utah and feeling like I smoked a pack of Newports. Like I had no wind, no breath.
Right.
Like the first day, you have to get reacclimated.
So when you're playing arena football, is it like comparatively? Is it like, to me, it's like professional wrestling because it's like the shows come to town, people come out, they buy tickets. It's for like kids and their families to be able to go to like
just
an
like
event.
that. Yeah, it's well, arena football is you're an athlete, you're a football player, you play most of your life, but you get to that situation and it's like it's not for me because I'm a defensive guy. I play D-line.
Right.
This sport is built for running up the scoreboard.
Right. You're more of like at that point it's a little bit more like flag football.
See, it's built for offense. It's like It's like basketball. People love to see dunks. People love to see shots, and that's what arena football is like. People don't want to see a bunch of dead plays. The field is like half the size as like a regular field, so it's like a lot of and the receivers get to get a head start before the snap.
It's crazy.
They'll start back and just start running, and as soon as they hit the line of scrimmage is when you snap the ball.
Right.
So they're already in like motion, momentum. Like,
is there aspirations for professional football? Like, are you there to like try and get to the next level, or was it like something to do?
When I was doing it, it was very, I don't know, like it was situational. Like I had a homeboy that was playing ball, and I went to go meet him to go hang out after his practice. Back in North Carolina. And I passed the eye test. They were like, "You play?" I was like, "I played throughout high school. I haven't played in a couple years." And they were like, "You want to play?"
Come on.
Yeah, it was just like that. And then I got into that world for a couple years,
right?
Where I was training, emailing, reaching out, sending out tapes, sending out film.
And you're like, "I like football. I want to play." And there's this world that it's an option.
I don't know what the aspiration I particularly had doing it. I just wanted to play. I just wanted to play. I was having fun. This was like during the recession.
Right.
So like I remember I was working a job and the company closed down. So I was basically just getting unemployment, training, and then going to go play.
And getting to do what you love.
Yeah. And I didn't even think I would ever play again. It wasn't even something that was like on my mind. But it was like, hey, you play ball.
Right. That's crazy.
You got cleats? Come out tomorrow. Yeah, it was like that.
That's wild. So you do that and you get in that kind of world and then it's hard. That's the thing with like jobs or like whatever world you're in.
Yeah.
It becomes the reality. So you're trying to, like, it's for us. We're in comedy. We're like, okay, now you're in comedy. You go, well, I got to do the Tonight Show. I got to do the Netflix. I got to get this. You're right. And then it becomes so that you forget that there's other things to do.
Well, those are your goals, right? Those are you set these things up. You're like, okay, I want to reach this. I want to be able to do this. When I was playing ball, I noticed the difference between like the guys playing, like our mentality, when it came to other teams like wanting to look at us and stuff. Because I remember I had a cousin, and we would talk a lot, and I would tell him about like, hey, I had this guy from this team came out, reached out, and all this exciting stuff, just sharing. And I remember telling him, I'm like, hey, I think it was like at the time I think it was like either somebody from like the Browns, and he was just like, oh man, that team is trash. And I was like, what? I was like, that could be the case, but why would I not? I'm not picking and choosing I'm not picking my favorite team to play in the NFL.
Well, it's funny. It's again to go to your worldview. It's like someone from the Browns is playing in the same league as me.
Or not even that. Someone from the Browns was coming to watch us. He was like,
okay, so a scout from the Browns, and you go, this is the biggest opportunity. This gets me to a different place. The Browns.
This changes us. It's a life changer.
Yeah, and then the person, their worldview is like, that team sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, what? We are not thinking of the same conversation.
Thing. We're not.
That happens a lot with comedy. That happens with any aspirational thing. It's like you realize very quickly. Like I would say to someone, "Yeah, I'm going to do an open mic," and they go, "Well, why would you do such a thing? For what? Why? And you go, oh, we're not talking about the same thing."
No.
It's really hard. And then again,
what you have when you have something set out, you're like, okay, this is like I got to attack. I want this. So in order to get this, I got to do this,
right,
and this.
Right.
And this and this is not always like pretty.
That's why it's hard to talk to people about your dreams You know, because you have to be selective about who you let into that world, because
it's very vulnerable. Yeah,
very vulnerable,
very vulnerable.
and you need someone to go kind of see where you're coming from. Oh, I get that you go to the open mics to work on the material, to be able to do it on a set where you might be paid money one day. I understand. Some people can never understand that. So then when you tell those people, you go, it makes you doubt yourself.
That's foreign to them.
Totally. If someone gets out of college, goes to a job, and sees that in their world it is the next, you know, the promotion, president, CEO.
Yeah.
To see like this thing that doesn't pay you money, like getting you to where you want to go, doesn't make sense to a lot of them.
I mean, I guess even to comedy, even to us, I feel like in certain those places, like you can get in your head and just like, hey, this feels like a hamster wheel. It feels like it's just
you gotta get and it can be that.
Yeah.
Listen.
And that can last for a year, 2 years. It can last for a couple years. You're like, this is the same shit over and over and over and over.
Listen, I remember, you know, starting something. There's nothing bad about starting something.
No, it's exciting in the beginning.
It's exciting, and it might get you somewhere new. It's really bad to continue something that's like working just enough. Like, because, you know, that can happen with podcasts.
What's
like
that called? Like,
there's got to be a name for that.
Yeah, where you're just like coasting or like. Just like,
well, you see it with like posting on the internet. You know, you go, if someone has a schedule of like, I'm going to post a stand-up clip every Tuesday, and that's relatable to any industry.
Yeah.
If you're like, every Tuesday I do this one thing.
So firefighter's like, I'm going to post a stand-up clip
every Tuesday. I'm going to post a video of me fighting fires every Tuesday. But you go, at a certain point, you have to look at it and go, okay, where have I been since a Tuesday 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Is it growing? Is it helping? And then you have to
Sometimes you find that in the comments though. Like people will be like there's a comic, he'll post videos and a lot of times it's the same joke. And some people will get on and be like, I saw you post this already. And then people will go under that comment, they'll be like, fuck you, it's growing, it's getting better. It's
oh my God.
It's like,
no, but I agree. That person who's writing that, like, they're not trying to help the person. They're going, you must have made a mistake.
That's they probably think you must have made a mistake, or they're like, or you're just getting over by posting the same. Like you're not. Either way, they're criticizing, right?
Right, but I actually, you know, there's a point where it's like your parents'
questions. That's inside baseball.
But your parents' questions aren't always stupid.
Parent questions?
Like, that's a parent question. Didn't you post this a month ago? And then you go, well, no, you know, maybe some of my audience didn't see it. And then
they want to understand also. And
right.
It's like, that's an opportunity to tell somebody, like, hey, like, to me, I'm like, I look at it like this. We're doing a thing. This is we get on stage every night. A lot of times we work on jokes. And I feel like, all right, if this guy's posting every day, you're seeing it. This is a peek behind.
See, I disagree with that.
You disagree with that?
I understand what you're saying.
I think that's like yo, you're seeing it.
You have to be open about that. Hey, I'm going to show you a joke how it gets better over the next 2 months. If you said that, then that's actually a thought out. You're doing a documentary.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes
that's a process that you're showing the progress over time.
Right, but if you don't admit to that, now you're being delusional. Because you're like, well, it didn't get the looks the first time because it was a bad day to post. Now it's getting the looks because that
algorithm thing is like bizarre to me. Like, it's like, okay, you got to post before 2 p.m. You got to post.
Listen, we're all going based off of things we heard, in the lunchroom.
Yeah, basically.
Let's get to the emails. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Napoleon, Emil. Go follow. So funny. You're not you're posting stuff every now and again.
Every now and again. I gotta get better.
I gotta get better. I post. Sometimes I'll take a break. I'm like, maybe I'm doing too much. I
like to mix it up. I don't like to have just stand-up. So I'm like, oh, there's a stand-up clips. There's maybe sketches.
And there's a rumor that that's a bad thing to do too. And I'm the same way. Like, that they say
mixing it up.
You have to post it. That's why on TikTok, there's people that are like, I'm the millennial joke guy. And you're like, that seems like a boring fucking life.
Not even just boring. It's just like, yeah.
Right.
Boring.
Like,
yeah, it's very boring life.
Listen, you know what's not boring? DraftKings. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, has an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down just $5 on the NBA. Make things even more exciting with DraftKings parlays. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your parlay across multiple games for a short for a shot at making payday even better. I love DraftKings. I use it on football all the time. It's a fun thing to do with the game. I think you guys will enjoy it. If you like to bet on basketball, this is a great opportunity to get bonus bets. Basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code JTrain. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code JTrain. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Let's get to the emails. You ready?
Yeah.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Morning breath misery.
That can go a lot of ways.
Jared, an esteemed guest. Love the show. I'm excited to watch the special. My boyfriend and I have been together for about a year and a half. I hate morning breath and always have. My boyfriend doesn't usually brush his teeth in the morning. What? I've never dated a guy who does this. This is normal.
No,
I think you brush your teeth in the morning.
That's like if you do it one time a day, that's the time.
Right.
You're supposed to be doing it multiple, but if you do it once, it's usually in the morning, right?
Right. I could understand maybe she's not seeing it, so she's making an assumption.
See, I'm thinking like maybe they sleep in the same bed. They sleep together. He wakes up, and he's like probably just engaging, talking, whatever, without getting up to brush his teeth.
Right. Maybe he goes home from her apartment, doesn't have a toothbrush there, and he brushes when he gets home. I don't know. The way
she said this was like he doesn't do it in the morning at all.
That's crazy. Shortly after we decided to be exclusive, I addressed the situation with him. I tried to take a Jared approach to things by saying, look, it's not you. It's just that morning breath is a turnoff to me. It's just something weird about me. Would you mind brushing your teeth in the morning when we stay together? I think that's I don't know if that's the Jared Freed method, but I think that's a reasonable, like, hey, I really would like it.
I think it's a simple request.
Right. He agreed, didn't seem offended. Now he brushes and uses mouthwash in the morning.
Okay.
However, this hasn't really solved the issue. His breath still smells. I have a theory that it's because he doesn't brush his tongue, but it feels weird to dictate his oral hygiene routine. Who knows? Maybe
It says he brushes and uses mouthwash and it still stinks?
Yeah, there's something off here.
Yeah, that's like a bad stuff.
Well, it could be. Maybe my breath still smells after brushing too. I think it's also on your mind. I think there's like, listen, I'm not like here to be like, you crazy, but like,
yeah,
if he's brushing his teeth and using mouthwash, and then you're like, well, maybe he isn't brushing his tongue. It's either he's got something inside, like you just said, like maybe
something's rotten inside.
Something's rotten. He got to see a doctor. Maybe there's something. Talk to a dentist. Hey,
like a bad tooth.
Right, something. Yeah. Go to the dentist. Or it's you're hung up on it. It's one of the two, because I do understand where you go. I've smelled bad breath from someone, and now they're a bad breath guy.
If he's not brushing his teeth in the morning, it's probably a bad tooth.
Right. My question is, do you think there's a way to bring this up without hurting his feelings, or do I need to just take the L and move on? Just going to move on from the guy. I know this is a weird thing to be hung up on. I don't think it's weird. No. I think it's normal to have these things that you attach to with people. And I also think it's normal to have a bad tooth.
Yeah.
But I can't get over it.
These are all fixable problems.
Right. His hygiene in every other regard is impeccable. I don't believe that. I don't believe you don't brush your teeth in the morning and you're impeccable.
That's a weird, I don't brush my teeth in the morning, but everything else is like pristine.
Right. No. She signs off by saying, every breath you take, I'll be hating you. Good sign off. What do you think she does? How do you bring this up? I don't think this is like end the relationship. I do think it's a discussion. And I think you have to reference when you set, you have to be like, hey, I'm back on the tooth thing. I'm back on the brushing thing. I know I'm being, what do you think?
I think if you say it like that, that can be annoying. But but if you have, if is that a deal breaker? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is that like a deal breaker for her? If she's like, obviously she has an issue with it. Do you have a problem with morning breath?
I'm okay. Like, I could have morning sex without everyone going to the bathroom to brush their teeth. It's not like I'm like I've had morning sex.
The purpose.
Right. The purpose of morning sex is a little messy, a little
You wake up and go at it.
Right. And it's like there's like inhibition, so to speak. So and I do think I'm never the person that's like morning sex, okay, toothbrush time, and then we'll come back. Like that does defeat the purpose of the morning sexual routine. I would say
not spontaneous enough.
I do understand being like, hey, if you see that someone doesn't brush their teeth in the morning, I can understand being turned off.
Yeah.
Just by how they live.
Do it, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how old this guy is and how long he hasn't been brushing his teeth in the morning.
Well, I think you're right. Like if we're to be a detective, we would go, okay, doesn't brush his teeth in the morning, now he brushes, still smells. Something's wrong with his dental program.
Yeah, it's troubleshooting, right?
Right.
You brushing your teeth all right, that's not the problem. Something else is the problem.
Maybe you say to him, how does she say this in a not... Let's say, okay.
Because the brushing the tongue thing is valid, but if you're using mouthwash, that should wipe that issue out.
I will say this, I will be vulnerable here. I'm a recent flosser. Never flossed. No. Growing up, I would never floss. Now, every time.
You use the string floss or you use the pick?
The string.
Okay.
And now I'm doing it every day, and I'm like, I can't believe I didn't do it before.
Ooh.
Like, now I'm getting shit out that I go, how did I live any other way? So I think this guy, right, I'm like, didn't I eat that 3 years ago? Right. Like, so, like, I think maybe, like, he needs a little bit of a, like, look in the mirror. I think, like, he needs to go to the dentist.
Sometimes we're kind of like trash until like we get a girlfriend, until we get somebody else to come in and tell like, hey, you need to do this, stop doing this. Like that's always been useful. Sometimes I realize I'm living wrong, and then like I'll meet a girl and I'll be like, yeah, I guess I don't have to do that, or I can stop, or I can like add this to like my routine.
That's a very male thing, where it's like I'm living wrong. I think here's what she has to do. Hey,
I don't think it's living wrong, but you're not really dateable.
Well, I'm living like a child.
Yeah, basically.
And not brushing your teeth in the morning is a childlike way to live.
Yeah, that's like you treat it like it's a chore.
And here's the thing. Here's the beautiful part. He was unoffended the first time you brought it up. Okay, so now you know he's not really that offended by it.
Easy going, I like it.
Easy going. So you go, hey, listen, I'm still smelling something. Have you gone to the dentist? When's the last time you went to the dentist? Say that. When's the last time you went? He might look at you and go, 6 years. And you'd be like, are you out of your fucking mind? You got to go to the dentist every year.
Hit that dentist.
Right. So if he says, I went 2 days ago, okay, now maybe it's a hang up for you.
That'd be what?
But I think it's unlikely. But would you be offended if someone was like, when's the last time you went to the dentist?
No, not like seriously offended. I'd be like, the fuck? Like jokingly offended.
Yeah, right. And then you go, what the fuck? And then you'd be like, and then if someone said to me, what the fuck? I'd be like, well, we had a discussion about you brushing your teeth.
Like, who's the we?
Right. Well, I'd be like, I have to assume.
I'd be like, who are you talking about my teeth to? Who are you talking about my routine
No, you
with?
and I, because she had this discussion already.
Yeah.
So she can go, when's the last time you went to the dentist? And he can go, why? What the fuck? And you'd be like, well, you seemingly didn't see it weird that you weren't brushing your teeth. Now you're brushing your teeth, and it's still a little bit of funky.
I like that he's doing it to please her, I guess. He should be doing it for himself.
Right.
But
sometimes you need a woman to go...
To double back and be like, listen, thank you for brushing your teeth. I'll see the effort you're making.
Right.
Right? Acknowledge that he's doing that. But then go behind it. But there's still something back there. You got to get like a tooth check. Right. Like I think there might be something rounded back there.
Here's the word.
That seems almost like you're helpful, like you're like concerned.
Here's the phrase. Help me help you get better.
Yeah.
Better
it's like
breath.
concern. It's like, yeah.
Here's the phrase used. There's something funky. Something funky is fun, but also a directive.
Something funky going on in there.
Something, right. And then do that twirl with the finger.
Yeah, something in there.
Something funky in there. Now it's like, right. And there's a difference between, and it's funny, in her email, she's like, should I just like leave him? It's like, well, do you like him? You like him otherwise? Then work with him. If this is an excuse to get out, then get out. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Napoleon and Emil. Go follow. Go get involved. Napoleon's fucking hilarious.
Go laugh at some shit.
Go laugh at some shit. Insecurity about threesomes. Ever had a threesome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insecurity about me?
No, this is the title of the email. Am I insecure about threesomes? No. Hi, Jared, Shelby, and guest. Thanks for doing the Lord's work and letting me put my brain on the shelf every week. Jumping right in. I'm looking for advice because I feel insecure about when my boyfriend asked me to have a threesome. That's different. Insecurity about threesomes, it's funny. Like, you go, oh,
that's
okay.
a different position that I was thinking of it from.
Right. My boyfriend keeps asking. It's like, okay, enough. I'm a bi girl, and back in 2023, April 2023, I asked him to have a threesome. Okay.
She opened up the can of worms.
Right. It was the first time for either of us to have a threesome. When I asked, I assured him I wasn't asking because he's not enough or I'm bored of our sex life, but that it sounded like a fun thing for us to do. He seemed to appreciate what I said, but he told me he wasn't feeling insecure about me asking and that he was excited but also nervous. I think that's a good perspective. Excited but also nervous. I understand that completely.
Yeah.
We had the threesome with another girl and both loved it and debriefed after about how fun it was for us. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what the nerves are for, though.
Fast forward a few months to now, and he brought up having a threesome again. Okay. It's interesting that, my gut reaction was insecurity. I've told him I feel insecure and asked for reassurance, which he willingly gave me. I'm not sure where the insecurity is coming from because I loved the last threesome and still fantasize about seeing him and her together. I go to therapy weekly so I could unpack it with my therapist, but I guess I'm just hoping you can offer me a non-therapy response here. Thanks in advance. A horny but insecure bi girl. What do you think?
Well,
Interesting,
nonetheless, but I think it's funny because she asked him, and she reassured him in a way like, hey, but then when the question comes in reverse,
right?
She feels the weight of that question differently, the way she didn't want him to feel,
right? And it's like,
and
listen,
it seems like he reassured her that, hey, it's nothing,
right?
And it seems like she's thought about it, and it's not a thing. But where's the insecurity at?
Right. It's so funny. It's like when people say, I want, sex workers should be paid. Porn stars should be paid. And then the boyfriend's like, okay, I got an OnlyFans account. I subscribe to this OnlyFans of this person who has 1,000 followers on Instagram. And then it's different. Shit's changed.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the same thing.
Because we like things in theory. We like it in theory. We don't like it at home.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah, I believe this, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of it.
Right. She doesn't trust that he can compartmentalize the way she can.
Wow, that's rude.
Well, it's rude, but she has to trust. Or she has to go, this isn't the world for me. I guess if I were her, she has to admit that
she wants to initiate.
Right. I'm up for threesomes with you when it's me initiating. When you initiate, it feels like, and that isn't fair, but that's gotta be her rules. Fair, the idea of fairness is stupid. Nothing's ever fair.
No, nothing's fair.
So if you're like, these are my terms for threesomes, I enjoy them. I enjoy bringing them to you. That's kind of the power dynamic I'm looking for in this sexual relationship. When you bring it to me, I'm not saying this is fair or right or a good way to go, but I feel, I like she has a right to feel weird. Like I like that this email is very thoughtful.
Yeah.
And I do understand where she's feeling weird, but she's also feeling weird because she's like, I know I am not being fair to him.
You think the weirdness is because she doesn't want him thinking about some other woman, like this other woman?
Right. I guess that's,
would it be the same woman they would be bringing in from the first time?
I don't know. And that would be, and that's understandable. Everything she's saying is so understandable. Also, because of the genders, like it's like when she says, I'd like to bring a woman in, and he's like, I'd like to bring a woman in, it's different.
I had to let that unfold because when you started with I'm feeling insecure, and there's the woman, my boyfriend keeps asking, and I'm like, okay, I can see that. But then it was like, well, I asked a few months back, and we did this.
Right.
So it was letting that all happen. I'm listening, and I'm like, I get it. I don't always agree, but I get the insecurity.
Right.
But I mean, where is she at now with it mentally? She's like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Is that where she's at?
Well, it doesn't even seem like that's even the question. I think it's more like, I think she's more top level, being like,
why do I feel this way?
Why do I feel this way? And I can understand, for him to bring up a woman, he's only attracted to women as we know it in this email. He's not bi, so he's like, it to her, this other person is like more a kink. To him, it could be, I'm into her. You know,
gotta ask those questions.
Got to ask those questions. And here's the other thing. The thing I'll say to her is, you don't owe him.
No.
I think that's the most important thing. You can have your own rules with your sexual endeavors. As long as someone agrees to those things, that's the contract that was made.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when they, like, this is going to be a really tough one for me because I only know this half truths.
Okay.
But like, the NFL is awarded certain liberties because they have a deal with their players association.
Yeah.
So like, they can say, I'm bringing up the NFL because I just remember this, where it's like, they wouldn't allow Maurice Claret to play before he was 21 years old or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then Maurice Claret like challenged it because he wanted to play before you were allowed. And I think it didn't go through because I think, and I'm not positive of this, they were like, well, there's a players agreement. They have their own negotiated.
It's like already like in the book, like because they've gone back and forth, kind of like at the NBA when it comes to like how old you can. So with NFL, I guess because it's more of a contact sport, they probably felt that way. Like you got to be of a certain age,
right? And they're allowed to have their own agreement with contract within their world.
Yeah,
that's not really like affected by the government's reign, what the government can put on you. So this is kind of in the similar thing where it's like, as long as you agree to a contractual agreement with someone over what your tastes are, it's okay to be like, hey, I like threesomes with you. I don't like when you bring me the woman. You know what I mean? This is why sexual,
He should know not to nag about something like that, though, as a dude. You can't be sitting there like, hey, we should do a threesome. We should, like...
Right, he's got to know, like, hey...
You got to let her come up with the idea.
But it's like, it's like when someone... I'm trying to think of the example, but it's like... I just think she has to be okay with, like... This is the way it works. It's like when someone has an open relationship. Those people in open relationships have the most communicative, rule-based. They have all these rules. When they really do it, that's why, like, when people talk about open relationships, I just don't trust it. I don't think people are that generally as communicative as someone who's really doing it. So for her, they always have these rules within it. And whether they're right or wrong or fair, those are just the rules of the makeup of this relationship. I think she has to go to him and go, this makes me uncomfortable. I know it's not, like, reasonable, because I've come to you with this side. I think there's a way. I think she has to be okay with that.
Yeah, but he also has to be, I don't know, I feel like sometimes you just have to, like, just know. Like,
right, he's got to be intuitive to, like, hey, you're bothering her.
Yeah, it's like you got to know that, like, all right, if I'm it's like role reversal, right? She asks for something or she wants to initiate something, like, yeah, that's good. You start to do it. It may not be that way, and the worst way to respond to that is be like, "That's not fair," because that creates that energy.
Well, that's how you know you're not dealing with a boyfriend who's like equipped to do what you're looking to do. And here's the thing,
or just not equipped to deal with like any hiccups or any like. You know what I'm saying? Just it could be anything, not a threesome. It could be anything.
Like that's not fair. Is not a good. Yeah. Here's the other thing. Here's what she can do. Hey, let me just tell you how I'm feeling right now. We had a threesome. Now you're asking to like have another one with another woman. I feel a little bit weird, and I know that's might seem unreasonable. But if the roles were all reversed and we had a threesome with another, if I asked for another guy, or if you said you want to have a threesome with another guy, we had a threesome with another guy, and then 2 weeks later I'm like, hey, let's bring that guy back. I'm sure you can understand where you might feel uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And don't say like you would feel uncomfortable. Just say, I'm sure you could understand how I would feel uncomfortable or how you would. And I think play it out that way.
He got to let her initiate that. I would say, because it's not him asking the question, so I guess it's her. But I would definitely say, like, in those situations, like, you can do your part as the man to, like, try to facilitate. But you can't, like, bring it up.
Right. Well, he's an idiot. I mean, like, he's not realizing, like he's an idiot for getting himself in trouble here. Like, he could have just said nothing and waited for the next time she was like looking to do that again. But he got got into it. He liked it.
Yeah.
Which is okay too. Him liking it is not, again, this is the other thing for her.
Of course he's going to like it.
Yeah, bro, him liking it is not necessarily him falling in love with this other woman.
No.
And she
we operate
I think she knows
differently.
that. JTrain
But I think she's probably a little bit like she obviously she loves this dude, it seems like, and I feel like there may be a little bit of a territorialness with him.
Absolutely. Her insecurity is totally valid. Like, it's like, and her surprise at the insecurity is also valid. I can understand. You were like,
see both of them,
right. And she's like, you don't know it until you feel it.
Yeah.
And that's what now you felt it. Now you have to recommunicate and
now
go.
You're sitting in bed thinking about it. Yeah.
Right. Now you have to go, okay, I felt this way. I'm not mad at you. I just need to let you know and see how they respond to your feelings.
Addressing it. You got to address it. Yeah. Bring it up. Bring it up to him.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Napoleon Emil. Go follow at Napoleon Emil. So funny. You're going to love him. Boyfriend has no life.
Wait, is this a different one?
Yeah. Jared, an esteemed guest. Feather, and huge congrats on the Netflix special. I'll get right to it. My boyfriend and I, both mid-30s, have been together for 2 years. By and large, the relationship is wonderful. However, he doesn't have any sort of life outside of our relationship. That's a turnoff. I can understand that.
Does he have a job?
His friends are married with kids and don't live nearby. He has a remote job he doesn't care about. And he has absolutely zero hobbies, interests, or activities outside of watching TV and going to the gym, which we do together. That's a lot. I, on the other hand, have a career I love, a side job that keeps me busy, intramural teams, hobbies, a regular volunteer gig. I mean, you guys couldn't be more opposite. And tons of friends who are very social and always making plans. I include him on a lot. But when I bring up him finding his own activities outside of our relationship, he gets mad. I've suggested how he should spend his free time and says he's perfectly happy with his life. When I bring up having independence, he says he doesn't want any life outside of us and only wants a life together. Those are different things.
It's endearing.
Like the idea of like, do you have hobbies? And I don't want no relationships outside of us.
But that's what I mean. I'm very confused. I'm like, how'd they even meet if that's how he operates?
I love being independent, and I believe he allows me to be, but he's always just sitting at home waiting for me to get back. That's the one thing. It's like, we talk about the people pleasing. Like, some people can just go out and be like, yeah, they're at home, they're doing nothing. I would feel the same way.
You think he's a people pleaser?
I think she is. I think there's an element I can understand where it's like, I go do my thing and then I come home and he's like, hey, and I'm like, what'd you do today? And he's like, nothing. And it's like, now it's all on her to have the stories, the conversation, the what are we doing tonight? She's always driving. And that would be annoying, because like,
that is annoying.
Sometimes you just want that person to go, hey, what'd you do today? And they're like, I got this, and that. I got dinner with friends tonight. You want a relationship.
You want to be exciting. There'll be a little something to talk about, like other things. So if you're not doing anything, then there's nothing she needs to ask you about, because she knows where you are.
Right.
She knows what you're doing and what you're not doing all the time.
Right. This would turn me off, because I want to be in a relationship where I never feel like someone's going, yeah, I'll just go whenever you're ready to go. And it's like, I want them to be like, I got things going on. Here's like, I don't know. I understand. So is this simply not the match, or should I find ways to get over this incompatibility and accept it? Thanks for your help. What do you think, Napoleon?
I think she's very concerned on what he does and doesn't do, right? Like I think that's a weird thing, not like work and then my girlfriend, right? That's weird. That's a weird, you got to have something for yourself mentally. But
you have to. He's saying, I don't need anything. Like, to me, I understand someone. I can understand from her end why this would feel like a burden.
That's pressure she don't need to put on. She's putting that on herself, though.
Right. I've done that. Listen. I've been in relationships where I'm like, you go. So they go, well, what's the plan this weekend? And I'm like, well, I got shows here, and then I got this, and then I got that, and then I'm like, that's what's going on with you? And they're like, nothing. And you're like, okay, now I feel like I didn't give them any thought.
What do you feel like you have to do when they're like that? You feel like you have to include them in everything you're doing now. Like, come with me.
I guess I do feel that way.
I would hate that.
Right, and it doesn't feel great. But even though I
that.
shouldn't, I can't be like, well, I guess I'll see you Sunday. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. You could do. I don't know. I understand the burden.
I'll always be like, all right, I'm going to be running around. I'll check in with you. I'll hit you up. We'll communicate. That I think is fine.
I think it's fine, but I'm wondering because they're 2 years in. When you're 2 years in, you want to have the person. You're a team.
2 years in, I feel like once you hit 2 to 3 years, the excitement or the way you see each other changes. It shifts, right? And then you start to like be domestic and regular and have a schedule. And I think that maybe she doesn't like that part of the relationship.
Don't you think at 2 years in, and I agree with what you're saying, the excitement is created by the I guess we'll see each other here because you got stuff and I got stuff, and to me there's no.
Well, you have to miss the person, and if this guy works remotely, he doesn't go anywhere. She sees him too often. She doesn't get a chance to miss him.
I agree.
Or she doesn't miss him, and there's nothing that's like engaging coming from him.
Right.
That's outside of like she knows everything else that's going on.
Right.
There's no air of mystery.
And he gets offended when she's like, why don't you do other things? Because he's like, I don't need these other things. And it's like, no.
He's sitting there saying, I'm a simple kind of guy. I don't need all these things.
And what she's missing the point on is I need you to have these other things because I need to miss you.
They're both missing the point.
Right. Well, so I think this is like, it's okay to be turned off. This isn't your match. This is 2 years in and you're going, this is life together.
But she's also saying we're in our mid-30s, so I know she doesn't want to just waste those 2 years or feel like she did.
Well, maybe I think what you said is so important. You need to miss each other.
Yeah.
And when you're this available, it's hard for me to get jazzed up to hang out.
Yeah.
I understand this. Like I like her point of view on this, I'm like, I feel her. You know what I mean? Like you go, oh yeah, this is.
It's like eating the same thing every day. You can't do that.
Right. And it's like, and then there's no effort from the restaurant to give you something new.
Yeah, just all imagination gone.
Right. So it's like, I'm not saying break up right away. Maybe I am a little bit, but I think also like you have to let them know.
Break up right away, but don't drag it.
Right. But you have to let them know I'm turned off. It's not I want you to do more. It's I don't really like
She's not stimulated by his lifestyle.
Right.
She's not. She's definitely growing bored. And, there's probably a little bit concerned that, he doesn't do anything else. So now she probably feels like, well, if I leave him, that's most of his life.
Right. Well, then that and you really.
That's too much pressure to put on yourself.
Also, here's the other thing. She feels like she's turning someone good away. She's like, she's actually thinking this isn't a good enough reason for me to end a relationship. But it's like, your excitement is a good enough reason.
I mean, yeah, good, boring, all of these,
Right. No one wants to say this person's boring.
That's basically what she's saying.
That's what she's saying. But like, you sound like a piece of shit. She's like, look at all the things I got going on. And it's like, yeah, you want to be stimulated. This isn't stimulating. The way you live your life is for stimulation. You're in groups and careers and side jobs and, you're doing, intramurals. Like you're attracted to busyness. So it's weird that you're with someone that doesn't want to be busy at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was I was asking, like, how did they meet in the first place?
Right.
Like, how did they come up on each other? Like, was it I can't imagine it because he obviously doesn't do anything.
Right.
He said he works out, though, right?
Also,
they work out. They work out together.
Working out together even is more boring because it's like you can't even come back and be like, who'd you see at the gym today? You're seeing the same thing.
You ever worked out with a girl? Or somebody you were dating?
I've probably done it once. There's nothing in it for me. I would be too annoyed.
I don't think.
Have you?
During the quarantine, I did.
And what was that like?
I mean, it was just situational. We wasn't going to go to a gym.
I'm always like, why would we do this?
I was trying to be more of I'll try this thing. I'll do yoga with you. Like that type of shit. But yeah, I mean, I've never done that before. That, and I feel like that stuff, like couples do that. Couples do work out together,
right? But they
try to encourage each other.
To me, you have to like really be into it to make it a fun thing for both of you. Like they have to be like.
Also, just are we working on the same things?
Right.
Working out like what are your goals in the gym today?
Again, that's the thing. It's like your goals are my goals. That's what excitement is that conversation?
I'm doing chest today. What are you doing?
Whatever you're doing. Well, that's the thing. That's a metaphor for this whole relationship. We go to the gym together. Okay, what are you doing at the gym? Whatever you're doing, and it's like. I guess I don't have to talk to you.
Working out with this girl and her picking. He's gonna have some good glutes at the end of this.
Right. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Napoleon Emil. Go follow. Just Friends. Dear Jared, thank you for all the great content. Your new special is hilarious. Thank you. I'm hoping for some guidance on how to let a friend know that I'm not interested in anything romantic. We used to work in the same office for about 5 years in different divisions of the company. About 2 years ago, I moved to another city, and I'm now out of work and looking for a new job. A month ago, I visited the prior city and met this friend for drinks and dinner, in part hoping to see if he might help me find a position in his division. He seemed awkward, uncomfortable, answering my questions, so we changed the subject. At the end of the dinner, he grabbed my hand and said, "You know this is a date, right?" Oy. We've never been just friends. Don't speak in we.
What does she mean by that?
She says, at the end of the dinner, he grabbed my hand and said, "You know this is a date, right? And we've never been just friends." With a bit of a girlfriend or F-off sentiment. He said that to her.
He says we've never been just friends. Okay, I was making sure who says that part.
Well, he's already delusional. I've never seen you as just a friend. When you say we've never been just friends, what are you talking for me for?
No, like, we've been just friends.
Right. I've been just friends to you. Of course, I could tell early on that he was interested in me. And over the years, I had thought, should I try to date him? Because logically, we would make sense as a couple. But I always came to the same conclusion that I just didn't feel it. That's okay.
Yeah.
After that dinner, he put his arm around me. And my mind was like, no. I said that I would think about things. Here's the thing. A lot of this sounds like it's out of a movie about a high school bully. Like, we've never been friends. It's like, I don't like the vibe of this.
Was he this assertive when she lived there? Like, that's the thing. It's like she left and now he has this, then she hits him up and he's like up about it.
Right. I'm sure there was like most people, you work with someone, there's a flirtation, as she said. Of course, I could tell early on he was interested in me.
Yeah.
Then you go away, you come back, I get this call, you go, oh, maybe they thought of me in that way. I can understand that.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is being on a dinner with someone and then going, we've never been just friends, and then put your arm around someone. It's just a little too assertive.
Yeah, there's many steps he skipped.
Oh, yeah. Looking back, I now feel bad that I've been stringing him along this whole time, though that was never my intent. I'd give yourself a little bit more credit. He has lots of female friends, and I had hoped I was one of them. I have seriously considered being more, but since that dinner, it's clear to me that I'm just not attracted in that way and need to communicate something to that effect. I would greatly appreciate your thoughts on how to let him know. Do I text or call, and what should I say? A friend advised me that I should make it about the distance or that I'm seeing someone. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's. You shouldn't have to make up something.
No. And the guy who puts his arm around you is also the guy who's not going to see that, hey, we live too far away from each other, is a reason, that is a excuse to not, get together. But I worry that it leaves it too open and would prefer more finality than that. But I also don't want to hurt his feelings. I'm willing to accept that this could end the friendship, as I feel awkward now anyways. But should I try to salvage the friendship, or is he always going to want more? What do you think?
Obviously he likes her. Obviously he made a move. She doesn't live there. She's looking for his help in a job, but she shouldn't go that route at this point.
No.
Now that she knows that, now that that's happened, pick another avenue.
Right. Well, this is very simple.
Yeah.
You're totally right. This ain't the help for work. That's over. You tried that.
Yeah. That's not the avenue.
Not the avenue. We are two dudes sitting here going, this big dog want to eat.
Yeah.
We can feel it in this email. You need to stick the knife through the heart with a dude who thinks you may have been attracted to him. You just got, and she wants finality. Here's all you do. Hey, I just want to address the dinner we had the other night. That's it. Hey, just want to address the dinner we had the other night.
How do you think that should be done?
Text.
Okay.
You don't. This guy doesn't.
No, you don't
deserve your call.
You don't see him again.
No, you don't see him again. Hey, I just want to address the dinner we had the other night. It was great catching up, but I don't feel a romantic vibe for this situation. I hope you can understand. I hope you can understand, and leave it at that. Done.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're on the same. You could say, hey, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. It was nice to see the other night. I know you mentioned us getting together in a more romantic way. That's not where I stand with you. I'll understand that we should probably take a little bit of room from each other. Good luck with everything.
I think that's probably the best way to go about it is to text this person.
Mm-hmm.
Be upfront. Obviously, it doesn't seem like she wants to be mean to this person. So,
no.
Yeah.
His feelings are going to get hurt. That's not your problem.
Yeah, that. He'll get over it.
Right.
Yeah, he'll live. But I honestly am like, when it comes to things like that, I'm like, keep it short.
Right.
To the point. Not in a rude way, not in a, but like you have to be like, hey, look, I enjoyed seeing you. It was good to catch up, but I do not.
How about this? Great to see you. Good to catch up. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. And this is my line. I think it's a great line. There's no way around it. This is not a romantic match for me.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Boom.
That's perfect.
Wish you all the best. And then you stop texting. If they come back to you with work stuff, they're doing that to try and get through this awkwardness. You don't owe them that, right?
No, you don't. I feel like, you don't owe them a response or a text saying that, if you honestly, but that's a nice thing to do.
Right, but also you're doing this for yourself. It's not for them.
Yeah.
They want a finality. Is that even a word?
Finality? I'll look it up.
They want finalization. You will get it from this. Finality? Yeah, Shelby says it's a word. We'll go with them.
All right.
We got time for one more? Let's do one more. You've been awesome. Shelby, the chill man behind the curtain. He's
like
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Okay, I got two different ones. I'll give you the choice.
All right, let's hear the titles.
Different spending habits. Friendship question. Is it weird that my friend won't tell me anything?
I want to hear that one.
Okay,
that one got a face out of me.
Yeah, it did get a face. Friendship question. Is it weird that my friend won't tell me anything? Jared, congratulations on the Netflix special. I came from Toronto to the taping. It was amazing and hilarious. Thank you so much. I've been best friends with my friend, we'll call her Lucy, for 10 years. I've never felt like we weren't super open and honest with each other until now. About 8 months ago, Lucy texted me saying she was so upset she was staying in bed, crying, and not being able to go to work for that whole week. I was obviously concerned and asked her what was wrong, what can I do to help, etc. And she said thanks, but she will be okay. She doesn't want to tell anyone what happened. Hey.
Oof.
Over the next few months, she still seemed upset, off and on, and had kind of removed herself from everything social. Well, something happened, and we have to believe that it might be somewhat severe.
Yeah.
To remove yourself from social situations, to have this linger with you.
Or be laying in bed for a week.
And to
crying.
be a different person than you were before. And also, we don't know how severe this thing, maybe it's something that's like embarrassing. We don't know.
Yeah, that could be that. Yeah.
She had mentioned starting therapy, so I felt like, okay, whatever is going on, hopefully she is getting support or advice from someone. 6 months later, I was at her house having dinner when she got a text message that caused her to break into tears and cried off and on throughout the entire night. Again, I tried to console her and ask what I can do, but she wouldn't tell me what it was about. This is bad. She told me she quit therapy because she wouldn't even tell the therapist what was going on, so it was pointless.
Oh, this is something she's embarrassed about.
Yeah, maybe. She has told me everything that happens in her life up until now, family drama, relationship issues, etc. It doesn't matter what it is, really. The problem for me is that this is like a huge elephant in the room at all times. I don't understand why she even let me in let me in that there's something seemingly huge going on with her, but she won't give me any info. Listen, this sounds like a therapist would like have like a word for this or like.
Well, if anything, this seems very taxing.
Right.
Taxing without any like, you can't pull that type of resource for somebody and then be like, I'm not telling you what's going on.
Right.
But you also can't be like, you need to tell me what's going on.
Right. And again, I'm sure we are not professionals in any sense of the form.
No.
But I'm sure a professional would look at this and go, they've seen it 100 times.
Yeah.
You know, like this is something people have probably seen because it feels very like, hey, I got something horrible that happened. I can't tell you anything more. And it's like, I'm sure this happens a lot.
She wants the tea, obviously.
I mean, I do too. I feel bad. But also if it's your friend, you go.
What would a professional say to that? That they will tell you, like, be there for them.
Right. She wouldn't even give a category like boyfriend, family, or work, etc. I asked if anyone else knows that can support her, and she said no. Not even her sister that she's super close to. This weekend, she sent me another really cagey text to say she's doing terrible, devastated, upset, etc. But again, won't tell me a single detail and said, I hope you are not mad that I'm not sharing anything. Well, now she's in the territory where you're affecting.
And she's very aware that she's not telling her either.
Well, that's the thing. There is a point where you go, I hope you're getting all the help you need. I know you don't want to let me in. I'm here when you need me. But when she's sending you these texts.
That's what I'm saying. That's very taxing stuff.
You're affecting my mental health.
Yeah.
Now. That's the thing. That's what I would. And you have a right too in this relationship. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, they've been friends for a while.
Truthfully, at this point, I am getting kind of mad. I feel like I can't tell her this because she's already upset with whatever issue her issue is. But isn't it weird to repeatedly let someone know how upset you are with never telling them why? Yes, it is weird. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? It seems like she's reaching out for a friend, but how much can I help with zero info? I'm questioning how close our friendship is.
Too.
I don't know. No, I know to me that's a side road that you've chosen to not like get mad at about something else.
Yeah.
This friend's problem can be real, and also you can be affected by how they're treating you because of their problem. Two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
The idea that like, well, maybe this friendship isn't enough. That's a way of like having an argument with them without really arguing about the hard thing.
You think that's a bratty thing?
Yeah, I think that's a side. You're trying to find
herself.
a right.
She's making it about herself a little bit.
Right.
A little too much.
I would make it about myself, and you are doing this to me.
Yeah.
If you go,
like I said, it's very taxing to be like, hey, I'm having a bad time because it's heavy on the other person because they're like, all right, I want to be there for you, but then the fact that they're like, I'm not going to tell you what's going on. And this sounds like it's been going on for like months.
Also, let's say trigger warning. Let's say this person harms himself. They're putting you in a position to be like the to feel the guilt of why they harm themselves.
Yeah. Well, if they don't let you in, I mean, this is your friend, you're gonna feel bad.
Right.
Regardless.
So that's the thing where it's like you've now put me in a position.
That's probably where she's at already.
Absolutely.
Like not her harming herself, but feeling like, oh, I don't want this to happen, so I'm here for you.
Right. Because now you've made it delicate. Like you're worried that you do something. You don't even know what subjects to avoid.
Yeah.
Like
you don't even know what. So she's creating eggshells around herself, her friend.
Right. Hang out with her feels awkward because we both know there's a huge secret in the room. What should I do? Do I keep trying or just leave it alone and potentially never know what's going on? Am I selfish for being kind of annoyed by this? Thanks for your advice. Canada loves you. I think you're not selfish at all. And this feels selfish because it's like you want to know and it's not because you're nosy.
No, but you've seen it affect her. She's seen it affect her friend.
Right. You want to know because you want your friend to feel better. You also want to know so that you can make sure that you do the best things to help her get help.
Well, I feel like she probably wants to help her herself also. So she's like, if I don't know, I really can't. I could just rub him. All you can do at that point is like rub someone's back.
Right. But I would understand where she's like, I don't want to get mad at her.
Yeah.
Where she now secludes herself even more than she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Here's what I would say to this person. I think you should consult your own therapist. I think you go to your own professional and say, because this is your mental health issue now.
Now
you have to own this. Like, I feel horrible because my friend, again, is going through something and has kind of made me like a side piece to this something. Right?
Yeah, now I'm curious. I'm like, what would be a thing that I wouldn't want to tell someone that would be like ailing me?
At this point, if I were her, I'd be like, it better be horrific.
Yes. I'm like, who's blackmailing your friend?
Right. Like, because if it's like, oh my God, I hooked up with some guy, you know, and it was consensual and great, but
or
you know,
he's married,
and he's married.
Yeah.
If I hooked up with I hooked up with a married guy, I'd be so mad at them.
Because, that wouldn't be good enough not to tell her.
Right.
Unless
to make me feel
horrific.
That
man was somebody that she knew as well.
Right. Unless it was her husband. Her dad or whatever it is. Like, right now she's made it into such a thing where it has to be so horrific.
Yeah, she's building it up.
I think I would go twofold. I would go to a professional. Here's what's going on in my life. I don't know if you've dealt with this in your professional opinion. I would love to hear, because I think this is enough for you to go to a professional on your own.
Yeah.
If she comes back to you, you can't say you're mad at her. I would just say you're affecting my mental health. I would let her know, like, what you're doing right now, I don't know what I can and cannot talk to you about. I don't know enough about your life and what you're going through to be a good friend to you. And now it's making me feel guilty because I don't even know how to be a good friend to you and I'm avoiding you.
Yeah.
When you're going through something that obviously needs some help. And thirdly, I want to let you know, nothing you say to me will make me not be your friend. There isn't one thing I could imagine that I wouldn't be there for you. Listen, I don't care how horrific. I don't care if you're going to jail. Okay?
Yeah.
We're
homies.
We're homies, and we're gonna get through this.
Yeah.
But what you're doing to me right now, it's pushing me away as a friend, and you're affecting my mental health.
Yeah.
I think that's what you say. Encourage them. Be like, at this point, I'm not asking you because I'm nosy. I'm asking you because I am hurting.
That's definitely worth bringing up to a therapist. Like, I would imagine for the one writing in.
Right.
To be like, yeah, this is, because that does seem very taxing to the point where this is going on for months. She doesn't know where to, like, not move or talk, or like she don't know what could be triggering for her friend. It's just a weird position to be in.
But the thing is, like, if you're going to jail, like in a worst case scenario, you're going to jail because of whatever happened. Maybe, you know, if you, or worst case scenario, you tell me something where I have to go to the police.
Yeah.
Like, let's say this person, let's invent a scenario. The friend goes, I killed a person.
Okay.
Okay. You go, and again, I'm speaking pretty frankly about this, but like, let's say this is the scenario. I killed a person. Okay. I need to go to the police to let them know. I will also be there for you in whatever way I can be as a friend. You're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. It might change our relationship, but that's the responsibility we take when we do actions we're not proud of.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But
like, I think in this world of like cancel culture and all those things, which I don't even believe in, I think people live in fear of this, like they're going to have to wear like the Scarlet A and right,
yeah.
And they're going to be alone in an alley and no one's going to talk to them.
What do they call it? Like a leopard? What do you call
a leopard? Yeah. So like, I think that's the fear these days is like, oh my God, the shame that I'm going to have nobody. It's like, you have to let them know that's the internet world. That's people are going to talk shit. Hey,
that's what I'm saying. She could be embarrassed on the thing that her friend may be like, that's where I draw the line. You're no longer my friend. That's probably what her friend is in fear of. Like her judging her for whatever the thing is.
And you have to let them know that that's not true.
I think the best thing to do is just to let them know, like, listen, I think first she has to make herself okay with possibly never getting the insight or the information, right? And then once you're okay with that, you can go to the person and be like, listen, whatever's going on, I get it. You don't want to share. No pressure on that.
Right.
You have to that has to be said to the person first. They're like, I'm here to help in whatever ways I can, but I do want to let you know that this is weighing on me.
Right. You have to let them know they are not. This isn't. Are you mad at me? No.
Like we're both free. We're both in this now. I just don't know why.
Right. And it's hurting me.
Yeah.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Napoleon, thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun. Really appreciate it.
This was a lot of fun.
At Napoleon Emil, go follow. So funny. I'm Jared Free. We're here every Monday. Keep sending your emails. Back next week. Boom.